Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. This video is all about conclusions. What key skills are needed when writing the conclusions? The key skills are in knowing what referees and readers expect to find in conclusions, not repeating exactly the same phrases and information from your abstract and introduction, and in providing a clear and high-impact take-home message for readers. How should I structure the conclusions? The conclusion section is not just a summary. Don't merely repeat what you said in the abstract and introduction. It's generally not more than 1 or 2 paragraphs long. A conclusion section is typically incorporate one or more of the following. Number 1, a very brief revisit of the most important findings, pointing out how these advance your field from the present states of knowledge. Number 2, a final judgment on the importance and significance of those findings in terms of their implications and impact, along with possible applications to other areas. Number 3, an indication of limitations of your study, though the discussion may be more appropriate place to do this. Number 4, suggestions for improvement, perhaps in relation to the limitations. Number 5, recommendations for future work, either for author and or the community. Number 6, recommendations for policy changes. How should I begin my conclusions? How can I increase the impact of my conclusions? What all these examples have in common is that they are boring to read and have almost zero impact on either the referee or the reader. They also match the equally uninteresting first sentences often found in abstract. Number 1. In this study, it is concluded that comparison plays an important part in. It was found that. The other one, comparison plays an important part in. In fact, it was found that. Number 2. This work has demonstrated that a number of compounds present in X are responsible for delaying the onset of. The other one, a number of compounds present in X are responsible for delaying the onset of. How can I end my conclusions? Once you have summarized your work and dealt with any limitations, there are 3 typical ways to end your conclusions. You can use one or more of these ways. The first is to show how your work could be applied in another area. For example, our findings could be applied. The second typical ending is to suggest future work. There is some general agreement that the use of will refers to your own planned work, and that should refers to work that you believe could be addressed by the general community. Thus, the following represent the author's plans. For example, one area of future work will be to represent these relationships explicitly. The third way to end your conclusions is to make a recommendation. The difficulty in making recommendations and suggestions is just in the grammatical construction. The examples below highlight a construction that may not exist in your language. Number 1, we suggest that the policymakers should give stakeholders a greater role in. Number 2, we suggest that policymakers give stakeholders a greater role in. Number 3, we suggest that the manager give stakeholders a greater role in. And number 4, we recommend that stakeholders should be given a greater role in. What tenses should I use? Many tenses and constructions are used in the conclusion: the future, conditionals, modal verbs, etc. One distinction that many authors make is between what they did during the research, simple past, and what they did during the writing process of the manuscript, present perfect. For example, we have described a method to extract gold from plastic. We use this method to extract 5 kilograms of gold from 50 kilograms of plastic. We found that the optimal conditions for this process were: the first verb have described says what the authors have done in the paper, whereas the second and the third verbs use found say what they did in the laboratory, that's to say a finished action. The following 2 sentences are incorrect because they use the present simple instead of the present perfect. Number 1, in this paper we consider the robust design of an extractor for removing gold from plastic. Number 2, in this study, it is demonstrated that by using an ad hoc extractor, gold can be easily removed from plastic. Sentence 1 and 2 would be correct in the abstract or introduction. Thank you for watching this video.